Have you been wanting to see a book review about Moonology by Yasmin Boland? That's coming up right after this. Hey everybody, my name is Mel. I'm from Mel's Divination. I'm the owner, the operator, the creator. And today we're going to talk about Moonology. I usually post on YouTube on Wednesdays. I do conversations about spiritual, witchy, tarot, astrology, and anything like that. Please subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell, follow me on Instagram or Facebook, check out my website, which is actually almost ready, coming soon, or email me if you're looking for any kind of readings or coachings. It's all down below in the description box. Also check out my Etsy store if you're looking for any kind of materials that I may have. I do occasionally do book reviews, and this is another one that I've had on my list. I have lots of books that I have on my list to review, but I don't want to slam you guys with every single book that I own, so I'm sprinkling them in throughout my content. Today, we're going to talk about Moonology. I am sorry that it is backwards. I will do some B-roll and sprinkle in where it is not backwards, but this is how it is until I get better editing software. Moonology is by Yasmin Boland. As promised, here's a video of the cover. Yasmin Boland. Here's the front of Moonology. And I'm going to do the back. Sorry if it's shaky. I'm not using my tripod right now. I do apologize. And here is the back. And she is also the author that has done the Moonology Oracle card decks that I've referenced in another video that I'll put up here. That's actually how I found this book, because I love that Oracle deck. And I was like, if I really like the Oracle deck and I really like working with the moon, I should probably check out her book. And I love working with the moon. This is a book that its subtitle is Working with the Magic of Lunar Cycles. And I wanted to share it with you guys because, oh my gosh, as you can see, I have lots of little sticky notes. I've read this book cover to cover. I use it as a reference book. It is amazing, and it is really, really helpful. It's sectioned up into parts, and I have it here because it's just way easier than me writing out notes. There's 4 parts in this book. It's part 1, why is the moon magic? Part 2, create your dream life with the new moon. Part 3, work with the magic of the full moon. Part 4, live consciously with the daily moon. I've talked about manifesting a lot, and I've talked about magic in general. This breaks it down if you like working with the moon cycles, and I do a ton personally of work with the moon cycles. The other thing I really like about Yasmin is you can follow her on Facebook, and she literally every single month, for now anyway, offers new moon and full moon for free rituals that she does that you can follow along with and do them every time. Some stuff I'm really into in this book, and some stuff I'm like, yeah, I don't really need that. But this book, cover to cover, I mean, if I had to rate it, I would give it a 5 out of 5 because I'm checking it every cycle, every new moon, every full moon. There are all kinds of references and appendices in the back, like a glossary. It's amazing. The first section is just kind of talking about, it has 2 chapters. It's talking about why the moon is special, what's magical about the moon. And it's just 2 chapters about kind of how to get in tune with the moon, if you've never really worked with the moon, why it's special, what does it do to you and us as a collective, and she talks about that. Now, Yasmin Boland, if you don't know her, she's not a witch. She is a famous astrologer and she's based out of England, but she really follows law of attraction and manifesting, and she talks about that a lot in her work. Then part 2 is all about the new moon, and there are 3 chapters in it: new moon manifesting, planning your life with the new moon, and predicting your future. What I love about when we get into the new moon parts, and I'll show this in B-roll. Let me see what page it's on. Chapter 329. She talks about new moon manifesting, why it's important. She talks about golden rules and how. I've talked about some of this in my other videos about manifesting, having good reasons, having good goals, and why. She calls manifestation intentions wishes, which I think is a little hokey, but to each their own. Everybody creates their own, right? You need to make your own labels. She's labeled it wishes, and that's cool, but she does get into like the reality of new moon manifesting and why you need to be focused on things that are real. You can't be trying to create something that is so unrealistic. And I will link above my manifestation video that I did, but she talks about that. And it's always been a theory that I've had, a practice that I've had when I work with my clients for manifesting, that you need to be doing stuff in reality, number 1. And number 2, it needs to be something that is realistic. And you need to have baby steps along the way. Like, you can't just be trying to manifest a $5 million mansion when you're homeless. Like, there need to be steps along the way. Then when we get into the new moon, planning with the new moon, so chapter 4, she literally breaks it down into the zodiacs. So what each new moon in what sign means. So going through the 12 signs. So the new moon in Aries, the new moon in Taurus, the new moon in Gemini. And under each section, she tells you what you need to do. It's different for every new moon. New moon in Taurus means this, this, and this. And that is so helpful. So when it comes up, you can look it up, look at the theme and see, okay, this is what the energy is, and you can be prepared for it before it even happens. And then, if you know what your rising sign is, and to know your rising sign, so now we're going to get into a little bit of astrology. Like I said, she's an astrologist. So if you know what your rising sign is, and you can do this with your sun sign. A sun sign is, okay, when you're born, what is your horoscope? I'm born November 13th. So my sun sign is Scorpio. The sun was in Scorpio when I was born, right? You don't need your time or place of birth for that. That is my sun sign. But I also know my place of birth and my time of birth, and when you enter it into an astrology program online, there's tons of them. I'll write some down below so you can use them that are free. If you know your time and place of birth, it'll tell you your rising sign. My rising sign is Capricorn, and that all has to do with where things are at the exact time of your birth and the exact place of where you are when you are born. And I'm not an astrologer, so please, I don't know a lot of answers about astrology. Don't ask me, but I do know that much. If you know your rising sign, that has a lot to do with the houses in the zodiac system, in the astrology system, and where the houses fall. When there's a new moon or a full moon, this applies for full moon as well, but when there's a moon setting, when there's any kind, quarter moon, balsamic moon, whatever, but she has a table for it that it literally, and I'll show you in the B-roll after, you can look it up. There's the houses of the new moon. And this is the houses for anything. We wrote it in the new moon part. It says your star or rising sign. It's better to do it with the rising. And then it has the the chart all the way down of all the rising signs. And then across the top, it's a table of when the new moon is in what is in what sign, right? And then you just go down. If you're an Aries rising and the new moon is in Aries, it's in your first house. If you're an Aries rising and the new moon is in Taurus, it's in your second house, and on and on and on. And it's a huge table. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but you guys get the point, right? So it's a huge table that lets you look up every single one. And this works, there's only one chart for a new moon, but it works the same way for the full moon. And then on the very next page, what I was describing as far as the moons in your houses. So if the new moon is in your first house, and this is how every single one is set up. So if it's in your first house, it's all about what to expect, what to wish for, what to visualize, the idea to keep in mind, the messages of this new moon, the meditation booster, the ritual to do, things to do, and it keeps going. Top 3 affirmations, essential oil, numerological energy, the mantra to do, the 3D chakra, the 5D chakra, the guiding archangel, the guiding goddess, the universal law, the heavenly ray. And then it goes into the next one. Okay, is it in your second house? And it's just, it breaks it down for every house. Okay? Same setup. And I love that. And then also, I want to flip back for a second. It tells you how to find your new moon. So it tells you a breakdown. If you're not able to find it, if you're not able to find which house it's in, it also gives you the basics. New moon in Taurus. So it gives it to you for each one. What to do. And it's different. The setup is different for each new moon because each energy, if it's Taurus, if it's Aries, if it's Scorpio, each energy is different. So it tells you kind of when it takes place. For Taurus, it's make a financial plan, how, love yourself, how, be sensual, how, character check, how, persevere, how. And then, so you can see in Gemini, which comes next, communicate, it's different. Meditate, it's different. Okay? So for new moons, it tells you about each individual moon in the sign and then each individual moon in the house. I hope that helps you guys. Those are all the options that you can work with during the new moon if you know what your rising sign is and what house the moon falls in during that time. It amplifies the energy, and you have all this information right here, right at your fingertips, just because you have this book. That is the new moon section. It's just the whole thing. That's why I have sticky notes, because I keep going back. Okay, well, the next one is. Well, the next new moon is here. The last one was in Leo. The next one's going to be in Virgo. Okay, so I got to look that one up next, right? That's one of the things I'm doing. So, and then part 3 is working with the full moon energies, which is almost exactly the same type of setup, except for full moon, she teaches you to have gratitude and forgiveness and release. So then she gives you a ritual for releasing and for having gratitude and forgiving and opening the doors for better manifestation practices. Because, okay, at the new moon, you're putting out what you want to bring into you. And at the full moon, you need to forgive. You need to let go. You need to have gratitude, so that when you do get, so that you're opening up the doors to allow yourself to receive. And she talks all about that. She gives you a ritual for that. And then she talks about the individual full moons again, just like in the new moon, under each sign, under each zodiac sign. So full moon in Pisces, Scorpio, etc. Then she talks about it under each house. Again, full moon in your second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house, just like I listed in the new moon. In the full moon. And this is my second try because I was saying it funny the first try around. So this one's a little bit different than the way that the new moon works out. So you can use, I'm going to go back to the chart that I showed. Always use the houses, the chart houses for new moons, like I showed in the new moon one. This works the same for full moon, right? But here's what's different with the full moon versus the new moon. For the full moon, she does break it down by zodiac and then by house. However, in the new moon, right now we're talking about full moon, but we're doing full moon versus new moon. In the new moon, which we just did a little while ago, the new moon zodiacs, it's different. The setup is different for every single zodiac. So here's Pisces. And in Pisces, she talks about the energy, top 5 questions, the message, the balance, forgive, and be grateful. Okay? So let's flip back for a second and look at Capricorn. In Capricorn, it's the same. The energy, the 5 questions, the message, the balance, forgive, and be grateful. So for the full moon, she sticks to the same setup for the zodiacs, whereas the new moon in the zodiacs, the setup is totally different for each individual unique zodiac. Okay, I hope that is making sense. I had to be careful about the way I said this because I was tripping myself up. For your houses in the full moon, I had to pick up where I left off. I got interrupted. Sorry, guys. Full moon or lunar eclipse in your, so this is a first house. The setup is exactly the same for every single house. So in the coming 2 weeks, what to expect. Emotion alert. And then she talks about the emotions. I don't know. I don't feel like that really needed to be under every single house, but it's there. Anyway, it's the same thing every time. Messages. And then release any issues you have about, and then depending on the house, she gets into details a little bit for each one, what the theme is there. A tug of war may arise between, and I believe it says that in every house. Let me see. Yes, it says that in every house. Find a balance between and forgive. And it's like that in every house. And then there's a little bit more on the next page. Sorry. Be grateful, mantra, and then affirmation. Okay? So if we look at the second house, it's the same thing. Coming 2 weeks, emotional alert. Oh, the emotional alert, it tells you what your emotions may go off about in each house. So I guess that does make sense why that's there. Messages, and then same thing. Release any issues, tug of war, find balance, forgive, be grateful, mantra, and affirmation. Okay, so that is what every house looks like in the full moon. After that, she talks about the daily moon, part 4. So the moon is constantly moving, right? It's a 28-day cycle. It's constantly moving, just like every planet is, but the moon moves fast. So it's in a different sign almost every 2 days, I believe. And I'm going to link my Astrology Magic of Eye planner up here that I reviewed because it literally tells you every day what sign the moon is in, and it's so fabulous. Here is my Magic of Eye planner that I referenced really quickly. Notice it's getting really dirty. The cover is getting dirty. I mentioned when I did the review way back, it was brand new. It was super clean. I will not be getting white again. I will be getting this again, and I learned that there's a pink one, a rose color, like a light pink one coming out. So I'm going to be trying that one. And if that one gets filthy, then the following year I'll probably get black, but this was a worthy investment for sure. I'm going to jump to a random page that has nothing on it because this thing I've been using and I've been using it a lot, but I'm going to jump to a random page in the future. So you can see that it has the moon. This actually has a new moon. I didn't even do that on purpose. So this has a new moon in Scorpio. So this is in November 20th. Sorry for the camera wobble. So see, it has Virgo, and I think that's Libra. Yep. And Libra. So these are the moons that are in the sign, and then Libra, and then Scorpio, and then this is the new moon in Scorpio, and then Scorpio and Sag and Capricorn. Okay? Sag. So that's and then it gives you the daily breakdown as well, and other little tidbits. But it is so helpful. So that's the magic of eye that I was just talking about. See how dirty it is? Yeah, I use it constantly for my manifestations and all sorts of stuff. And I'm also going to link the Witch's Almanac that I had. This is just a super quick of the Witch's Almanac. I did do a review on this, and I have been using it, and it's dated from spring 2021 to spring 2022, so you could still get it if you wanted to. We just entered Libra as I'm doing this, so I want this to be up to date for you guys. So this is the Libra calendar, and it goes from each zodiac, and each little thing. So September, the autumnal equinox, we just finished that. This is today. Eat barley. It tells you to eat barley today, and the moon is in Taurus. Saturday, it talks about opening your third eye. The moon will be in Gemini. Let your instinct guide you on the 27th, etc., 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 etc. This is absolutely worth purchasing just for this little thing every month. But it has some really awesome articles too. I hope that helps you guys. So it's a great addition to the Magic of Eye. So I'm going to link that up here too, now that I've been using it. So live consciously with the daily moon. It talks to you about like, oh, okay, if the moon today is in Taurus or the moon today is in Aries, what can you do today with that energy? What does that mean? What is it good for? What is it not good for? How can you work with it? And then it talks more about the moon being in your houses. Now we're going to talk about the daily moon. Daily moon. Okay, this is the end of the book pretty much. There's a guide to the daily moon, and then it talks you through it every day. Daily moon in Aries, little preview about a little summary about what it's like, what it's good for, what it's not so good for, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And it's like that, as you can see, in Taurus. Same thing. Little summary, good for, not so good for, do, don't. Okay? And then it gets into the daily moon in your first house, second house, and again, you can figure that out by using the charts. And then there's a conclusion. Is this book worth it? Oh my God. It's my most favorite book I've bought recently. It's my most favorite book I've bought, I think, period. It is absolutely worth it. I am so thrilled. I'm also a moon child. I've been a moon baby since I was 2. So, and I've said that in other videos. I am very much a moon person. And I will do a walkthrough of her deck. It's not unusual or rare though, because it's like the #1 best-selling deck. But I will do a walkthrough of her deck soon so that you guys can just see it. I love this book. I absolutely love this book. And I will do some walkthroughs of the appendix, but she has quick reference guides too. So extras of chakras, extras of full moon names, what to do with the quarter moons. She has a huge bibliography. She has a huge list of resources, of additional things, permissions, and then a little thing about the author. This book was $16.99. I bought it on Amazon. I believe you can get, it's hayhouse as well. Sometimes hayhouse has sales, so you could probably get it on hayhouse as well, hayhouse.com. I'll link both down below in the description box, so you can check that out. As I'm filming this, I'm not affiliated, I'm not sponsored, I'm not making any money off of promoting this, and it's just an amazing resource. So if you do any kind of manifestation work, if you do any kind of working with the moon, if you connect with the moon, if you like looking up astrology, if you like doing rituals, it has changed my monthly cycles as far as the way I connect with the divine so much since I started doing her Facebook rituals, like signing in every month with her, twice a month with her, and checking in and following. Sorry, my cat is like right there. Following in and checking my rhythms. Now, like, I'll feel off, and most of the time it's because something's going on with me with the moon, and I'll know why. Sometimes I'm not, because like there's stuff going on right now with Uranus that just went retrograde, and it's triggered a whole bunch of stuff for me. But I'm very, very moon sensitive, and I know what to expect and why it's triggering certain things and what I'm going through. So that's about all I wanted to say for this one. I hope you liked it. I'm obsessed with this book. It's probably the only one. This is probably the only book I'm going to be super excited doing a review about, at least for now. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you have this book already, if you like it, if you're interested in it. Give me your honest feedback. This is my honest feedback about it. Let me know if you have any questions, because I have been working with it. I'll answer them if I can. If not, I'll let you know if I have no idea, because I'm not an astrologer. So there's only so much I do know about this, but I will answer what I can. And that's about it, guys. I'm going to add some video of flip throughs of this right after this. Now we're going to go through the appendices. We're going to do a flip through of the back of the book, of all the charts and little extras that she gives and bonuses that come with it. So this is the very back and the very end of the book. So she offers a year ahead planner. I have not used it yet. I will use it for next year because I didn't purchase this book at the beginning of the year. But what I will probably do is take a photocopy of this. I don't want to write in it and destroy it, because once you use it once, that's it, right? It tells you, okay, well, this is the new moon. This is when it's going to, you fill it in. This is when it's going to happen. And there's an example of it. She gives you a breakdown of how to do it. New moon, sign, what date is it coming in, and then it tells you what you should do, what you should focus on. So it lets you plan ahead, and you can do that with the Magic of I book. You can do that with a Witch's Almanac book. You can even do it just by looking something up online. She gives you a resource of her stuff, her website, where you can look things up, predict your month, planets and degrees, the lunar nodes. So then she gets into the lunar nodes, which she does not talk about throughout the book, but in the appendices, she talks about all the lunar nodes. Okay, I'm not going to get into this very much, but you can pause it and read it if you like. And then I really like this. It tells you the lunar nodes from 2017 to 2026. So right now, we are here. North node is in Gemini and South node is in Sagittarius. That's where we're at right now. Coming up very soon, January 18th, 2022, the North node is going into Taurus and the South node is going into Scorpio. So that's something to keep in mind coming up in the new year. Then we have Appendix B. It goes into the 12 houses. She breaks them down in a chart, what each one represents. And then it goes into the signs, the zodiac signs. And it's just a very, very small, simple beginner's guide to like what each thing means. It's not very detailed, but it's a nice little cheat sheet to have. So if you're like an advanced astrologer, it's kind of a waste. But if you're not, it's good to know. Then we have Appendix C. She gets into the essential oils that she was talking about in other sections. The new moon's numerology, chakras, the third dimensional chakras, the fifth dimensional chakras. I'm not going to take too long going over this because there's a lot here. It's all the stuff that she was talking about during the new moons. Mantras, guiding goddesses, angels, universal laws, and heavenly rays. So she goes into further detail with that. Then Appendix D, she shares the full moon names. So there's a whole chart there and why. So like January, it's the moon after Yule. It's called the wolf moon or the fox moon, and it's the moon when the wolves or foxes howled, and yes, the first full moon after Christmas. So that's how they got their names. It's a whole chart about it. Goes on to the next page. She talks a little bit about other places in the world. In the sun. So this is the sorry, I apologize. This is the northern hemisphere. This is the southern hemisphere. Okay. And then the next page, a version that works for both hemispheres. And then she gets into quarter moons and houses and signs. So there's a lot here about quarter moons. And so waning, waxing, what houses, what signs, on and on and on. Okay? And then the bibliography. Yay! I'm reviewing a book with a bibliography. And they're good ones. So there's all different suggestions of where she's gotten her resources from, where she's gotten some of her things from. I didn't realize when I was reading this over, she was a co-author with Doreen Virtue, who I have mentioned and I will be doing a video about, with Archangel Astrology 101. And I believe there was another one. Oh, maybe that's it. But I found that very interesting. And then resources. She uses I mentioned her Facebook Lives that she does. She uses Edo and Joe's music constantly. Once in a while, Mark Watson. But often, Edo and Joe. They have some nice music, and you can look it up for free on YouTube. That's very soothing, and it's good for chanting. And then some websites. Permission. Angel Astrology. Yeah, there it is. Angel Astrology. She co-authored Angel Astrology. I knew she did. That's where I saw that. And then a little bit about her. And that's that. And please like, subscribe, share, comment, follow. I think that's it. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye.